Both me and you on the top of World Star, you would have freestyling me with a video, but you say you're unaware that this mixtape gonna come, and I got a battle that says come out 10/17. So it just made me lose all respect for him instantly.
Remember when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti used to make fire music together? These two were homeboys for a long time. Whenever they linked up, the result was straight fire. Unfortunately, somewhere along the way, they went from friends to enemies, and after years of throwing shots at each other, they still haven't resolved their situation. This beef goes all the way back to 2012, when Gucci announced on Twitter that he would drop his mixtape Trap God on October 17th. Trap God, my biggest mixtape ever, dropping 10/17/2012. Gucci specifically chose this date because just months prior, he had renamed his record label from So Icy Entertainment to 1017 Records. But then news broke that Yo Gotti would be dropping his project Cocaine Music 7, The World Is Yours, on the same day. Gucci was pissed, and on the day his mixtape dropped, he tweeted, "Why would another artist put their mixtape out on 10/17 if they ain't Brick Squad? You ain't me, the Trap God." Gucci also dissed Gotti on the track Birds of a Feather, calling him a buster.
No, I fuck with Scooter, he's a robbing motherfucker. I used to fuck with Gotti till he turned into a buster.
He then stopped by Hot 107.9 and basically accused Gotti of trying to ride his wave. Gucci claimed that when he reached out to Gotti, Gotti told him that he had no idea Gucci was dropping on 10/17. Of course, Gucci didn't buy this, and he thought the whole world knew about his 10/17 record label. Anyway, check out what he said.
My main problem with him was they dropped this mixtape on 10/17 and tried to like ride my wave. You know what I'm saying? Like he was an artist of mine and we get some kind of money together. So I just felt like, you know, for an artist to drop their mixtape on 10/17, you know what I'm saying? Which is my label on the day that I dropped all my label mates dropped their mixtape on 10/17.
But see, Gotti was looking at this differently, and he told his side of the story in an interview with K97's Devin Steele. Basically, Gotti claimed he didn't know 10/17 was a big day for Gucci, and when he found out Gucci was dropping on the same day as him, he didn't think it was that serious.
I mean, you know, it's a funny situation because first of all, like I do my music and I don't keep up with what other people doing. You get what I'm saying? When I'm in the studio and locked in the studio, like I ain't walking around with no laptop. You know what I'm saying?
Gotti also said he called Gucci as soon as he learned about his release date, but Gucci wasn't picking up his phone. And then a few days later, Gotti found out Gucci dissed him on Twitter. Then he called Gucci again, and this time they tried to hash it out, but nothing was really resolved. And Gotti said he realized Gucci had some type of problem with him.
So I hit him, you know what I mean? I hit him to chop it up back then. I ain't, you know, he ain't hit me back, he ain't answer. So I'm thinking like, you know, maybe he got a different number, you know how they be. Niggas change numbers all the time.
Right. Gotti also said he was cool with dropping his mixtape whenever, and it sounded like he threw some subliminal shots at Gucci when he said he's not insecure like that to worry about the release date.
On the strength of me feeling like he was my homeboy, I said, cool, do your thing, have your day. I come out tomorrow. Right. Like it don't matter to me. I come out at 13 o'clock in the morning.
And when asked if he would respond to Gucci with a diss track of his own, Gotti kind of skirted around the question, and he said he was disappointed in Gucci more than anything, because this whole situation made him realize Gucci is not the stand-up street guy he used to know. Basically, Gotti thought it was kind of sneaky of Gucci to diss him on Twitter instead of calling him and talking to him man-to-man, especially after everything they'd gone through together. Gotti also claimed that people from Gucci's camp who called him to tell him about the diss track also told him Gucci was bragging about how he would keep dissing Gotti as long as he could make money off it.
I'm gonna keep dissing everybody until they react. I'm trying to get this iTunes money and show money. And I'm like, for real?
So at this point, it was only a matter of time until Gotti responded with a diss of his own. And that's exactly what he did November 2012 when he dropped Have Mercy, Gucci Know Not What He Do, and put a snippet of his K97 interview in the intro.
Because I looked at him different. What I perceived to him is not what he playing out.
But see, since there's never been any doubt that both these men can spit, fans were starting to get tired of this petty beef. Not really a beef I have interest in seeing, one man said. Both of them make good music, and if there's one rap beef that would end sour, it would be this one. We all know Gucci busts his guns, and Gotti seems to likely do the same. I mean, Gotti did make a video cooking work, so gun busting isn't out of his league. Hope they squash it and move on amicably. And another person said, why did he and Gucci Mane start beefing? They used to be damn near best friends, but sadly it all just went downhill from this point. In August 2013, Gucci once fired shots at Gotti on Twitter and wrote, "Name your top 3 ass rappers. Mine's Jeezy, Yo Gotti, and Tip." No brainer. But there are hundreds more. And what did Gotti do? Instead of tweeting, he dropped a remix of I Got That Sack, featuring the same two rappers Gucci name-dropped in his tweet, Jeezy and T.I. But that's not all he did. Gotti also went on The Breakfast Club and revealed that he slept with Gucci's wife, Keisha, while Gucci was in jail. However, Gucci and Keisha weren't married at the time, and Gotti claimed he didn't know Gucci was serious about Keisha.
But that was your...
You bangs your partner's girl?
Damn, Gotti, man. You ain't my friend, man.
But that was your girlfriend, though, right? Wasn't that like
Gotti said, Emmy, my partner. Oh, I didn't know that was your wife.
I ain't know that. I ain't know that.
Gotti also said Keisha told him she had some type of history with Gucci, but she didn't say they were planning to get married or anything like that.
Like on keeping it a G,
Right.
Shawty the one told me she used to mess with home. Like I ain't know that.
Oh, she told you, but it was too late. You was
I
already...
ain't gonna say it was too late, but I mean like.
Of course, it didn't take long before Gucci hopped on Twitter again and went on an epic rant, throwing shots at everyone. Gotti, Jeezy, T.I., 2 Chainz, Waka Flocka, Tyga, Eminem, Drake, Nicki Minaj, you name it. He wrote Jeezy, Tip, Gotti, Waka, Nicki Minaj, Drake, The Woo, Frenchie, 2 Chainz, Coach K, K.O.R., Eminem, OJ, Rock. Of course, Gucci's management then tried to do some damage control, and a rep for Warner Brothers Atlantic Records, Raheem the Dream, issued a statement saying Gucci's Twitter was hacked. All kinds of DMs and whatnot were sent from the hacked account. But you gotta understand though, the Gucci was heavily into lean back then, and he was pretty much spiraling out of control. I mean, Gucci said it himself after he was done dissing everyone. He wrote, "I've been drinking lean for 10 plus years, and I must admit, it has destroyed me. I want to be the first rapper to admit." Then on September 13th, 2013, Gucci was hanging out with a friend when he started behaving erratically. The friend called the cops, and when they arrived, Gucci started cursing and threatening him. The police took him into custody and found marijuana and a handgun on him. Gucci was booked on charges of carrying a concealed weapon, possession of marijuana, and disorderly conduct. On September 30th, he was sentenced to 183 days in jail, and then in December, he was also charged in federal court with 2 counts of possession of a firearm as a felon. The federal prosecutor said at the time, since Gucci was in possession of 2 different loaded guns between September 12th and 14th, 2013, he was looking at a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. This was a wake-up call for Gucci, so he pled guilty and agreed to a plea deal in exchange for 2 years in prison. Gucci served his sentence in the U.S. Penitentiary in Terre Haute, Indiana, and on May 26, 2016, he was released. By this time, Gucci had decided to turn his life around. He quit lean and famously lost a bunch of weight, leaving fans in shock over his transformation. Shortly after his release from prison, Gucci did an interview with XXL magazine and opened up about all those diss tweets about Gotti and other industry names. During that time, I was just toxic, Gucci said. I was really just high as out of my mind, and I don't blame him. I'm not using the as an escape. It was me. I was in a bad place, and I was just so high that I felt like in my mind at the time, like maybe the only way I could feel good, maybe if I hurt somebody else. Gucci explained that he was just frustrated and stressed out over his 6 open cases, and he thought everyone was out to get him. It was like, could nobody do right? Everybody was wrong, Gucci said. Even if you was trying to help me, you ain't do it quick enough. Your timing was off. You really don't care. You were being manipulative, or you're just doing it to get something out of me. I just seen things through a clouded lens, so the whole Twitter rant was an example of a person just self-destructing. But although Gucci emerged from prison a changed man in many ways, sadly, it doesn't look like he and Gotti are back to being homeboys. It's 2022, which means it's been a whole decade since this beef started, and somehow Gucci and Gotti still haven't squashed this mess. However, they're not throwing shots at each other anymore either, so maybe that's a good sign. They'll eventually solve this issue. As for their fans, pretty much all of them think this whole situation was unnecessary, and they just want to see Gucci and Gotti collaborate again. Put me in a multiverse where Gucci and Gotti never beefed, one fan said. And another one wrote, all the streets want to hear is Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane. But how do y'all feel about this? Do you think there's a chance Gucci and Gotti will squash this beef and start making music together? Leave your comments below, and if you like this video, make sure you check out this next one too.